What is up, YouTube? This is your boy Liger, one half and duo, and this is the video that I wanted to go into in depth about. And this is another video added to the fall of 8th generation. I'm gonna do a couple more videos after this talking about the 8th generation and talk about why, to me, in my opinion, and looking at stuff factually and looking around, seeing some things are going wrong. I don't think the gaming industry should be a problem, but there's a problem going on that we need to address. So 2 weeks ago, I put up a video called "Gamers Don't Listen." So think of this as the remix, the 4K version, anything you want to call it, of that video. So in that video, I pointed out certain things. So basically, I have 3 points to point out. Three. So, and I have evidence and stuff to talk about. So let's get into that. For people who are new to the channel, once again, I put up a video talking about Liger Exposed, and it should be shown on the screen, the link on the side and the card system, and I'll try to put it down in the description box as well, so you go check it out so you understand where I'm coming from, why my channel is here, and all that stuff like that, because I think people might get stuff confused. Now, so we have 3 topics, 3 main points. The third one basically refers the other 2. So let's just get into the topic at hand. So what you're about to hear is audio from a radio show. The radio show is the ANG show. Basically, it was talking about how retail and all kind of stuff. And I'm going to play the clips so you understand this. And this is a reporter from the Washington Post. And this is basically showing something that I've been said on my channel many times before. So unlike other people, I want to prove people facts. And this person got her article. She was talking about data from Nielsen, as I said before, NPD numbers, Nielsen, Forbes, Washington, Wall Street Journal, and so on. So with that said, let me just play the clips, and I'll just alliterate between those clips.
Well, please welcome to the Armstrong and Getty Show, Sarah Halzak, who's a reporter for the Washington Post, deals with issues of the economy and shopping and the pocketbook, etc.
Now, again, they brought her on the show to talk about what's the trends, what's going on in retail. So they basically brought her on, and she discussed more of this than anything else in this clip.
That's right. I think the biggest headline out of these new numbers was that for the first time ever, apparel, clothing, was the biggest seller online. It surpassed computers and hardware, which has sort of held the crown for over a decade. And so it does seem to indicate something of a shift in the way we shop and the things we're really willing to spend our money on online.
Okay, now I'm going to make sure that people understand now. She did a lot of categories, and we talk about video games. So not that make sure you understand that she's not talking about no mobile or casual stuff, which I hate that word, video games. She's talking about games that we are talking about on this side of YouTube. So here's a clip to show what she's talking about, legitimate.
That's just something to keep in mind, as you see, and that was something else they told me about the video games category as well, which, as you can see in the chart, is the highest. There's 44% growth in year-over-year sales, and they said, that's a real feast or famine category, that in years when a big new game comes out or a big new console, you can really see that swing wildly positive because it's a relatively small category overall, and then in years where there's not a real hot game, you might see a decline there.
Okay, so there you go. So we talk about consoles, we talk about hot video games, talk about what we're talking about on this side of YouTube. So I'm gonna let her play this long clip, and I'm gonna focus on the one part that I have been saying many times before, and that's why I'm saying gamers don't listen. But so here's this clip about video games. She clumped it with a lot of people, but in the category because it's significant that this category is something that people just doesn't address. So here we go.
Yeah, so we did see some pretty strong growth this year in video games, toys, and sports as well. Those were big leaders. And, what's interesting about those is that they're relatively low consideration purchases, as we call them in retail nerd jargon. And that means they're not something that you spend a lot of time researching, right? So a laptop is going to cost you a lot of money. There's a lot of different features. The same could be said for home appliances like a washer and dryer. You really want to do your homework before you make those purchases. But where we're seeing the strong growth is in the kinds of things that you do a little bit more impulsively, a little bit more thoughtlessly, like buying a toy or buying a new baseball glove. And so that's been interesting to see as well.
And I'm sorry, you call those what? Low consideration purchases?
And there you go. She calls them low considered purchases, which basically, as she explained in the clip, that people they buy it thoughtlessly or they don't do research. Once again, the part that I always point out when people buy these broken games and make big things on YouTube, they don't do what?
And that means they're not something that you spend a lot of time researching, right?
Thank you. And that's the point I'm trying to put with people. There are not a lot of gamers who do research on these games. How the heck you buy the Division, but you didn't know it was always online? Same thing with the Crew. How can Assassin's Creed Unity get 10 million sold, and over 5 was on the Xbox side, and the game was broken for a long time, and it was broken, glitchy piece of mess, and people still bought it. Same thing with Alien Colonial Marine. Bad game, but still sold 2.1 million in the first month. Or Evolve had a $260 DLC purchasing. They said but basically the first trailer when these guys were talking about Evolve game, they were talking about all the DLC and what's going on. And people put up videos, you go check it on YouTube, and stunned that this game, it got great reviews, which no game media point out the DLC practices, which is weird. But then people argue, well, it got nothing to the game, you gotta buy this, you gotta buy that. Gamers do not do research. That is my point when I say that. That's a downfall. That's a downfall of the age generation, where people just buy things because of popularity, not with their own thing. I don't have no problem people buying a game and say, "Hey, this game is not for me. This game is not my cup of tea. This game is a bad game or whatever." That's subjective. That's all cool. Do stuff factually, but you buy it, then you come on YouTube later on to rant and rave and go crazy. That's a problem. And I think she just points it out right there. That show was recorded on April 6th, in the 4th hour. If you want to ever check it out, A&G show. If you want to think, and like I say, Sarah is a part of the Washington Post, and she has, like I said, the chart that had all the stuff about video games and retail and toys and all kind of stuff like that. But video games have still sold over and over, like she said. One thing I found out that she also pointed out, and other people point out in the Nielsen report, is software has even though video games is selling, in the industry, they made $20 more billion this year, not this year, last year, and the year before, 2014. Here's the thing though, most of it didn't came because people buy more softwares. Most of it even because people buy more hardware. No, mostly because there are more microtransactions and DLCs, and they consider those as software, which it is not. And she broke some up. A lot of people break them up. People buy more microtransactions and DLCs. That's sad. So we're not buying full games no more. We're not buying big games no more. We're not buying more games. We're buying less video games, less retail software, but spending more money in microtransactions and DLC. That's where they're making up their money from. And if, again, as EA did in 2014, if they could make $900 million on just straight DLC and microtransactions, just $900 million, close to $1 billion people, then come on. You think they're going to stop doing this? No. And there's going to be more arguments, as people said maybe before, and they're going to keep on coming back. Now, I'm going to do a video about the fall of the 8th gen. The fall of the 8th gen in a podcast maybe 2 weeks from now. It's going to be a 2-parter. And I'm going to bring up certain things, how gamers really has fallen as well too. I did about how the publishers and developers did. Now it's the gamers. So there you go. My point has been shown that people don't research their video games. I've said that many times on my podcast, and there you go. Now let's get into the second topic. Now the second topic really goes towards PlayStation. Again, I'm not against PlayStation. Just because I didn't buy the console doesn't mean I'm not for it. I want PlayStation to have more exclusive. That's what it is. But people twist it thinking, oh, a third party. I've said in that video too, and I said, if you buy the console for third party games, that's cool. But there are many consoles out there that died because they didn't have a first party library. That's just all, or basically an exclusive library. That's all I'm saying. You have Apple, one of the most successful companies on the planet, and they're pipping because they depended on third parties, so that they didn't survive that much. They couldn't etch their stuff because right now, Apple, the phone, the tablet, all the thing. Why are they surviving? Because they have a unique iOS and that system to their platform. That's why people, I think gamers do not listen to what I'm trying to say. That's my point. As a company, I do not want, if I don't want third parties, because again, I said in that video, what happened if Vivendi buys out What happened if Vivendi buys out Ubisoft? What happened if Capcom loses more money this year than they did last year? What happened if Square Enix Final Fantasy 15 becomes a super flop and it shuts them down? You can't. If that happens and you don't have your own games to back you up, you're gonna fall. That's the part I'm trying to push out to when I talk about the PlayStation thing. Again, Nintendo doesn't have third-party games. Yes, I understand that's true, and I wish they had more. Don't get it twisted. But you know what? They're making tons of profit because they have that exclusive library that makes them money. That's the difference. Do they need third parties to show variable of show variety of games? Yes. Do they need it to make money? No, because they got their own software to make money. That's why I put up the analogy. You know why your printer is cheap? Because they know they're gonna get you on the ink cartridges. Same thing with a filter. Same thing with water filter, air filter. They're gonna get you with the cartridges because that thing is what you need to put in the thing to make it work. That's what I'm pointing out. And what I pointed out in the Nelson report was people are buying PlayStation 4 not for video games, just for Blu-ray and online streaming. That's what the Nelson report put out. They said they wanted for features. I've said that before. And not because only they do that for the features. Don't get it twisted. They like the graphics and everything because of what the PlayStation 4 can do. But as I said before, the average user, not gamer. If you're a gamer, you have like 10, 20 PlayStation 4 games. Most of them are third party. That's all cool. But the user base, the people who buy it, the people who buy all these consoles, who buy the PlayStation 4 and made it the number one selling console this generation, they're not playing video games on it. Most of the people who buy the video games basically buy the video games and trade it back into GameStop or whatever, or that's just it. That's what they do, and that's kind of sad that our industry is getting hurt that way. The attachment rate for PlayStation exclusive is 12.5%, and the thing about it that I'm trying to point out once again is that most of the games that's published by Sony is not selling on their own console. So their investments are not turning out the way they want it to be, and they've said it themselves. The top three games that are selling on their console that are published by them are Remastered and Minecraft. That's what it is. I hope Ratchet & Clank could prove me wrong. I hope Uncharted 4 could prove me wrong. But when other games could be that way, that's what it needs to get the library. That's all I'm pointing out there. I see that as something that could hurt them. And remember, you see all these guys putting out, oh man, the PlayStation 4 is the most powerful console of the 8th generation. Then why is it getting a second significant, as Richard Review Tech and everybody else was saying, this is a significant upgrade? And if it's powerful, then why did it need to be a significant upgrade? And if you ever see Rich Reviews Tech video about thing which is funny, which proves my point, like he's saying, well, I don't know why devs are angry because if they can't optimize the game now, you think they're gonna be easy to optimize the game when you have two different SKUs, Rich? As he said, I'm not a software developer, I'm not a software engineer. You just answer your own questions, sir. And that's the kind of stuff that's going on in this industry or on this side of YouTube that just makes no sense in that regard. I'm telling you guys, I don't got nothing against PlayStation. You like it, you enjoy it. That I'm just bringing up factual facts about the PlayStation 4 and Sony that I think they need to address. Everybody brings up, hey, Nintendo needs third-party games. They need third-party games. They said again, I'm not against it. They need third-party games. But for the reason that these people are talking about is not relevant to what I'm just saying is something that's gonna hurt Sony later on, profit-wise. If they were making a ton of profits, because everybody also said that the PlayStation Vision is the only one making profits is Sony. No way. PlayStation, Sony Music, Sony Pictures, Sony Ads are making way more money than PlayStation, okay? And I could tell you that because, again, I'm a part of that, part of that. And when people who argue with me in certain comment section in the past, whatever, when you have the power to come to a meeting, a Sony executive meeting and stuff like that, I'll wave to you in the meeting board while I'm there. I'll wave to you and tell you, hey, you know what? Oh, I know who you are. Can you show your video? I'll say, hey, you know what? I'm Liger. I'm the guy this and this and this, and I'll tell you that for sure. But if you're not in that room, please, whatever. It's anecdotal evidence. I understand that, but the point again, you're not going to walk into a meeting with a microphone and all that junk to prove to who. But that's why I'm saying that. Now, here's something right here. I'm going to point out another part that basically combines all this together and show that it's not gamers, it's human nature. We do not do research to stuff at all. We do not see value in certain things. It's just weird. The stuff that we pay attention to is kind of stupid. I've seen in the election year this year. We pay attention to the nonsense, but the stuff that's really matter to us, we don't give a damn about. So, point 3 now. Let's go into the point. All right, in point 3, that brings everything home. I'm saying consumers themselves has problems. Shout out to John Lucas when he talked the difference between customers and consumers. I wish I'm not talking to him for a while, but I hope everything's going good, homie. But anyway, this is a video taken in a local store in North Carolina, Harris Theater. And I'm going to show you 3 products. You have, this is just water, simple water. You have Nestle, you have HT purified water, Nestle purified water, and then you have the bigger pack of the purified water. So in this video, you can see how the shelves look. This is a sales week. This is the sale. This is basically 10 o'clock at night before they restock everything. So this is just the day's end of Friday with people looking at stuff. Okay. So in this, you see the video I'm putting up here. You see that the one in the middle basically is purified water. 24 bottles. Purified water, 24 bottles, HD. Now these are, as you can see, the bigger numbers. These are the sales tags. All right, these are the sales tags. So if you have the shopper's card, you get these prices. So the one that's $24. I mean, sorry, that's the one that has 24 bottles is on sale right now for $257. Okay, and you can see that. People, you know, there's shells missing. There's spots missing on this thing. I would shout out to my boy Blackbeard for helping me point this out. Thank you, Blackbeard. You know, hopefully I can get you on the podcast, my brother. But the shell is, you know, you can see that the shell, people are taking out the stuff like that. But if you look to the right that you see right now, you can see that they are 30, the same brand, same bottle. It's 35 bottles in here, and you can see it's two for $6. Now let me point out for something here. Really, now there's a in the comment section. This is basically, I'm gonna point, like I said, bringing everything home together. In the comment section, when I remember I told you about I had a one-on-one on OJ, and I gave you the link to go into OJ's comment section and see stuff. There are a couple comments in there that makes no sense. And here's what I'm saying now. There's a comment section where OJ said, this guy was like, oh, I'm a Nintendo fan. Okay. Oh, man. Yeah, you know what? And he's having a podcast about me right now. Oh, man. That's sad, man. That's just sad. You see, if that person, you see, one, OJ didn't put a link to my channel, which is kind of messed up. I put a link to his, but he ain't put a link to mine. That's just messed up. But 2, if that guy did research, he can go and see that every debate I've done one-on-one debates with, not just a one-on-one regular talk, but a one-on-one debates on, I always have a aftercast. The one with Turner John, I brought people on to hear to see what they're talking about. The one with Grim Crotchy, I had that exact same thing. I talked about it after the podcast. The only reason I didn't do a one-on-one with OJ aftercast thing with people or nothing like that is because it was 12 o'clock at night. It was late for me. I had to go work, so I didn't do that. So I did it later on. So I've been consistent. I've not lied to nobody. And if he did his research, he would find out, wow, hey, OG, you know what? He's been consistent. Kind of, you know, he always does that. But no, they don't do the research, so they stay to that. That's that. And two, in the comment section, there's a person called Real Gamer 27, and he talked about how I'm calling it. He's using the preference as the reason why there's a drought. Yes, sir. There is a difference when it comes to preference, as you see in the video. Why is Nestle that has 28 bottles in it? Nestle, and it's for $3.99. Nestle on the side, that's the purified water as well too. There's only one on the shelf. Why? Because people know the name, it's the brand name. All right, so people prefer that over the store stuff. That's a preference. Some people who bought this bought that. That's a preference. That's why that they could get this. They could get the same bottles. They could get the same bottle of water that's purified, just as Nestle says purified, for cheaper, or for even a better value, which you'll see later on when I point this out. But they like Nestle. That's why that's part of the shelf is empty, and that's why you can never tell me there's no you can't tell me no consoles ever have a drought, because every console has a drought, sir. And that's why I point that out. See, this is again why people need to understand. This is why I could come with logical arguments to people, or common sense to people when they say certain stuff. I have a video on my channel that should be right. It's going to be in the description below, but also points out this again. It's in the card right there. You should click on it. Talking about the weakness of everything, consoles and PC, and that's preference. And watch that video. You don't gotta watch all of it. Watch up to the 6 minutes, and that's about it. I pointed out. Everything is because of preference. Anything that's mass sale is preference. Anything that sells a lot, that's preference because a mass-produced item is the same reason. There's a reason why when you see all these concept cars and stuff, they don't build out these concept cars because they know they have to make a better yield, a better stuff, like same thing with the consoles, and they also have to make it consumer friendly. And again, that doesn't mean that the car is bad, but it's just people like that type of car. So again, I wish people could understand that issue. But let's even condense this even better in this video, as you can see. So, consumers are buying the 24 bottle of HT water. But beside that, if they could, and I've shopped at the store, you could get, if you just wanted one, you can get the 35 bottle one for $3. So, for 43 cents more, you get 11 more bottles, which would make a better value, don't you think? But people don't. As you can see, there's floor stacks. There's full and there's stuff on the floor. People are not picking that up. But the other one, they are picking up. That don't make sense. And so that shows you that they don't do the research as a consumer. And here's the nail pin, because, and like I said, with Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, everything too, when they see certain things like that, they figure out how to game the system and make you spend more money. And again, when I said with publishers, they say when like EA, they got the $900 million of DLC. Hell, we'll continue it. That's why we have online Need for Speed. That's why we have DLC for the Need for Speed game that came out early last year in the mobile, when it made you buy gas for your car. What the hell? Sorry about that. What the hell? So here's the homework mark right here. Take away the sales price now. This is how the store games you. For the 35 bottle one that has 35 bottles, more bottles in there, more water. The regular price is $3.27. But because people buy the 24 bottle one, the price on that is $3.29. Why would you pick up 24 for $3.29 when you could pick up the other one? You can pick up 11 more bottles for 2 cents less. That's my point. That proves my point that people do not buy. They don't do research, and it's sad. And if that's on a consumer level, you think, again, this proves my point with the report of what Sarah said about video games, and that's why the industry is falling apart right now. Again, OJ said that the industry is doing well, even though their studios, their publishers are closing off. And again, we're selling less games software than before. More DLC and microtransactions is filling in that void and making the sales go up to that much. This is just 100% facts, guys. I'm just presenting you this way. I don't have a race in this horse. I just want the industry itself to be good. I want gamers to make good purchases and buy games. And the things that they argue about, DLC, broken games, whatever, don't buy them. Even if it's on a Nintendo console, don't buy them. That's all I've said. In Splatoon, I say, if you think that with Splatoon, trickle out the thing, whatever, I have a video that says, don't buy it if you don't want it. I've never said you have to buy it. So, I don't get that. And this is me doing independent research and find out stuff. This is also why games media is losing their trash. This is something that games media should be doing, but it don't. And as I talked about a video about Polygon, about how they didn't review Star Fox Zero because they couldn't understand the controls. That is weird. That is messed up. And that's not the first time they did this. They gave, again, Codename Steam a 3 because they couldn't beat the first boss. And with Star Fox Zero 1, they were on invincibility mode. That's weird. So again, if that's what's going on in the industry, while we have game studios shutting down, publishers shutting down, losing a ton of money that people don't see behind the scenes. They just think, oh yeah, whatever. And that we have media shutting down, game trailers shut down. You know, next week I gotta do a video about this as well too, because they had a part that's funny. That is a loss of brain cells. Yahoo Games is shutting down because what? People don't go there to watch and read their articles. So the industry is not doing all great, but it is where it is. Look, all right. I'm just pointing out facts and factual stuff. Gamers don't listen. That's my point of this whole thing. When they listen to my videos, I had to do a response video to a specific person because of certain thing, and I also shout out. I would shout. You know what? Okay, what's sound negative? So a shout out to a person, you know who you are. Look, you commented on the video. I don't care that you sold your Wii U. I don't care. You sold it. That's good. That's the best thing you could do. If you don't like it, sell your Wii U. Good. That's the great thing to do. I have no amount of animosity against that. That's what I'm saying. That's good. But my point was, when I say user, people think gamer. When I said average, people don't understand. They don't know what average means. When I said that people don't do research, I got, as I proved, people don't do research in buying things. And I just did it in 2 parts right there. So please understand, right? Buy the stuff. Again, simple. Buy what you like. If you don't like it, even if it's a translation, if you don't like the censorship, you don't like whatever it is, don't buy it. It's simple, plain, easy. If you like it, buy it. Done. No matter what console, no matter what video game, no matter what it is. I have people who bought Street Fighter 5. They said that the game was messed up, blah, 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 whatever. But you know what? And I have not bought the game, but you know what? They're not making 50, 60 videos about why Street Fighter sucks and all that stuff like that, or whatever, ranting or raving. They say whatever it is. They're not doing that. So I don't chastise them because they know what they bought. They take the responsibility onto themselves that, man, I bought this game, whatever. That's it. I know a friend who bought a couple games and he sent the games back, but he said, damn, I should have done my research. That's what he said, and that's what I think gamers need to be doing. So again, listen to me carefully. All right, as long as these companies make profits and put out great products, that's all I care about. Let's stop the crazy microtransaction. Let's stop the DLC. Like I said, even for me, for a Nintendo fan, I've not bought not one near skin from Smash Brothers, because that's crazy. I'll never buy a skin for any game. I don't care if it's Nintendo. I don't care. No, I'm not buying no skin for nobody. So I speak with my wallet. I stand for what I say, and I'm consistent in what I'm saying. Okay. So please understand that. Okay, guys. If you buy a game, buy it, enjoy it. If you don't, if it doesn't stand up to your standards, you can return it. It's all cool. I'm not against people returning games, whatever. And understand what's going on with that. Okay. So with that said, I'll end this breakdown right here. There's no perfect games out there. You know the reason why? Because perfect is a subjective word. That's what it is. So what's perfect to you is not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect to you. So just sit back and enjoy the games that you like and play. Peace out.